Greetings of the day to all my dear students. I hope that you all are in good health. The thought for the day is our greatest weakness lies in giving up. The most certain way to succeed is always to try just one more time. This is Shreya Jadhav welcoming you all to my e learning channel. And today we are going to learn English, Grade 9, Chapter 9, The Bond of Love, written by Kenneth Anderson. So, before going through the reading and explanation of the chapter, let us know something about the author. Kenneth Anderson was born on 8th March 1910. He was an Indian born British writer and hunter. He wrote books about his adventures in the jungles of South India. Anderson went to Bishop Cotton Boys' School and studied at St. Joseph's College, Bangalore. He was employed by British Art Effect Factory in Bangalore in the rank of the factory manager for planning. His love for inhabitants of the Indian jungle led him to big game hunting and to writing real life adventurous stories. He often went into the jungle alone and unarmed to meditate and enjoy the beauty of untouched nature. As a hunter, he tracked down men eating tigers and leopards. Anderson's styles of writing is descriptive as he talks about his adventures with wild animals, while most stories are about hunting tigers and leopards, particularly man eaters. He includes chapter on his first and encounters with elephants, bison, and bears. He gives insight into the people of the Indian jungles of his time. His books delve into the habits of jungle tribes, their survival skills, and their day to day lives. Moving forward, let us have a look into introduction for answers. Prose. Prose name The Bond of Love. Author's name Kenneth Anderson. Genre short story. Summary. This is a story of love and friendship between an animal and a human being. Now let us move ahead and go through the summary of the chapter. This is the story of love and friendship between an animal and a human being. Really, it is true that love has no proper language. Everybody can understand it and love others. Even animals and birds understand the language of love. If we love them, they will love us in return. Therefore, love is mutual. Short summary. It says that one day the author and his friends were passing through the sugarcane fields near Mysore, where people were driving away the wild pigs from the fields by shooting at them. Unluckily, one of the companions of the authors shot a bear. Then they had found that the baby bear was also riding the bear that was killed by them. The author brought it to Bangalore and gave it to his wife. She felt delighted on getting it. She named it Bruno as the cub was a boy. Bruno soon took to drinking milk from a bottle and started eating everything. One day, an accident befell on him. The bear entered the library and ate some poison that had been put there for rats. The poison paralyzed the bear, but somehow he dragged himself to the author's wife. Bruno was rushed to an animal clinic and was saved. Another time, Bruno drank 1 gallon of old engine oil, but it had no ill effects whatever. Slowly and gradually, Bruno equaled the Alsatians in height and even outgrown them. The author's wife changed his name Baba. Baba had now learnt many tricks and now he was in chains most of the time. The author and his son advised the author's wife to give Baba to the zoo at Mysore. The zoo sent a cage from Mysore in a lorry and Baba was packed off. Baba and author's wife both felt very sad after it. Both were undergoing departing grief. The author took his wife to Mysore so that she could meet Baba in zoo. When Baba saw her, he started dancing and stood on his head in delight. For next 3 hours, she would not leave that cage. She gave him tea, cakes, ice cream, etc. When the closing time came, both started crying bitterly. The author's wife asked the curator, "May I have my Baba back?" And luckily he agreed somehow. Author's wife brought her Baba back to her home and kept him in a special place in home. Now both the bear and author's wife were happy. And this proves that she loved Bruno very much. So, dear students, this is all about the summary. Now, let us start with the explanation of the chapter. This is part 2 of chapter 9. The months rolled on, and Bruno had grown many times the size he was when he came. He had equaled the Alsatians in height and had even outgrown them, but was just as sweet, just as mischievous, just as playful, and he was very fond of all of us. Above all, he loved my wife, and she loved him too. She had changed his name from Bruno to Baba, a Hindustani word signifying small boy. And he could do a few tricks too at the command. Baba whistle, Baba box, he vigorously tackled anyone who came forward for a rough and tumble. Give him a stick and say, "Baba, hold gun," and he pointed the stick at you. Ask him, "Baba, where's baby?" and he immediately produce a cradle, affectionately a stump of wood which he had carefully concealed in his straw bed. But because of the tenant's children, poor Bruno or Baba had to be kept chained most of the time. So now Bruno, or we can consider as Baba, was continuously growing according to its size. And now he had outgrown the other pets also. And because of this scenario, it had become really very difficult for him to keep open. So he was supposed to be, kept chained each and every time. But still, he was the same. He loved all of us. And whatever tricks were supposed to be done, he would do it very, no, innocently, and he would be delighted in doing that thing. Then my son and I advised my wife, and friends advised her too, to give Baba to the zoo at Mysore. He was getting too big to keep at home. After some weeks of such advice, she at last consented. Hastily, and before she could change her mind, a letter was written to the curator of the zoo. Did he want a tame bear for his collection? He replied, yes. The zoo sent a cage from Mysore in a lorry, a distance of 87 miles, and Baba was packed off. So now the author and his son, both of them advised their mother and wife by telling that no, now Baba was getting very big, and it was not possible to keep Baba in home, and the only no thing where he could live was in the zoo. After a long duration of waiting, she gave an affirmation. She agreed to that thing, that okay, you can take Baba to the zoo. Before the narrator's wife could change her decision, a letter was written to the curator, means a person who is in charge in the zoo, that if they wanted a tame bear for their collection, and there was an affirmative answer from the curator, they sent a lorry from Mysore, and the distance was 87 miles, and Baba was sent to Mysore's zoo. We all missed him greatly, but in a sense, we were relieved. My wife was inconsolable. She wept and fretted for the first few days. She could not eat a thing. Then she wrote a number of letters to the curator. How was Baba? Back came the reply. Well, but fretting, he refuses food too. So, no, everybody were missing Baba a lot, but they were now relieved that okay, now he was in a very good place. Means he was in his a sort of a natural habitat where other animals would be there. No, and every now and then, no, the narrator's wife would write a letter, and she would cry, and she would write that how is Baba. Back came the replies that he was good enough, but he was unhappy. Baba was unhappy, and he refused food also. After that, friends visiting Mysore were begged to make a point of going to the zoo and seeing how Baba was getting along. They reported that he was well, but looked very thin, and said all the keepers at zoo said he was fleeting. For 3 months, I managed to restrain my wife from visiting Mysore. Then she said one day, I must see Baba. Either you take me by car, or I'll go by myself, by bus or train. So I took her by car. So eventually, now the narrator's wife also made a point that any of the relatives, friends, neighbor, whosoever would go to Mysore, she would not request them to at least have a look at the zoo and see how Baba was. Everyone, even the people who were working in the zoo, the keepers, they all would say just one thing, that Baba was fretting, he was very unhappy, he was worried, he was not eating anything. He was getting thinner and thinner day by day, he was really very sad. For narrator, he kept no his wife restrained for 3 months, that please don't visit, let him settle down in the new place. But after 3 months, it was a high time for her, and she said that either you take me by car, or I will catch a bus or train, anything. And then the narrator agreed to take his wife through car. Friends had conjectured that the bear would not recognize her. I had thought so too, but while she was yet some yards from his cage, Baba saw her and recognized her. He howled with happiness. She ran up to him, petted him through the bars, and he stood on his head and in delight. So now eventually the friends made some sort of opinion. They were guessing that no, Baba would not recognize her, and even the author had that sort of opinion. But what eventually happened when narrator's wife was few yards away, Baba just stood up. He was so happy to see her, and he started howling with happiness. And at that time the narrator's wife also ran up to him, and she petted from the through the bars, and no, he was so happy to see her. For the next 3 hours, she would not leave that cage. She gave him tea, lemonade, cakes, ice creams, and whatnot. Then closing time came, and we had to leave. My wife cried bitterly. Baba cried bitterly. Even the hardened curator and the keepers felt depressed. As for me, I had reconciled myself. What I knew was going to happen next. Oh, please, sir, she asked the curator. May I have my Baba back? Hastily, he answered, Madam, he belongs to the zoo and is government property now. I cannot give away government property, but if my boss, the superintendent at Bangalore, agrees, certainly you may have him back. So now uh, the narrator's wife bought plenty of things for Baba, snacks and lemonades and ice creams and whatnot. And after 3 hours, it was closing time, and both of them cried very bitterly, the narrator's wife as well as Baba. And now even the curator and the keepers over there, they were also full of emotions that no, they were departing. Moreover to that, it was something that she asked that may I have my Baba back, and at that time uh, the curator no hastily said that no, madam, now he belongs to the government property. So no, you are supposed to write a letter to the superintendent at Bangalore, and if he agrees, then you can take him back. There followed the return journey to Bangalore and a visit to Superintendent's bungalow. A tearful pleading, Baba and I are both fleeting for each other. Will you please give him back to me? He was kind-hearted man and consented. Not only that, but he wrote to the curator telling him to lend us a cage for transporting the bear to Bangalore. So now it was that they didn't return back to their home. They went to Bangalore. They went to superintendent's house. She pleaded a lot, and she told that both of them are unhappy without each other. Both of them are fleeting, and she requested. The superintendent was also a very kind-hearted person, and then he agreed to the thing, and he also wrote a letter to the curator saying that to give a big cage to the people for transporting the bear to Bangalore. Back we went to Mysore again, armed with the superintendent's letter. Baba was driven into a small cage and hoisted on top of the car. The cage was tied securely, and a slow and careful return journey to Bangalore was accomplished. Once home, a squad of coolies were engaged for special work in our compound. An island was made for Baba. It was 20 feet long and 15 feet wide, and was surrounded by a dry peat or moat, 6 feet wide and 7 feet deep. A wooden box that once housed foals was brought and put on the island for Baba to sleep at night. Straw was placed inside to keep him warm, and his baby, the granite stump, along with his gun, a piece of bamboo, both of which have been sentimentally preserved since he had been sent away to the zoo, were kept back for him to play with. So now it was that when they reached over there, a squad of coolies were over there to for a special work in the compound where they used to live, and an island sort of thing was specifically made for Baba, and it was really good. And the narrator's wife had secured few of the things which belonged to Baba, and before going to Mysore, he used to play with all these stuff. So all the things were kept inside. Even straws were kept inside so that it would keep him warm enough for the sleep. Uh, a stump and sticks were also put up to play. In few days, the coolies hoisted the cage onto the island and Baba was released. He was delighted, standing on his hind legs. He pointed his gun and cradled his baby. My wife spent hours sitting on a chair there while he sat on her lap. He was 15 months old and pretty heavy too. So now eventually what happened, that within few days the whole cage, the island was made and Baba was released inside. Moreover to that, he was so happy. He was standing on his hind legs. He pointed his guns and cradled his baby. He was so happy to be in his own place where he was, we can say, brought up with such a lot of love and affection. And the narrator's wife would sit there spending hours and hours on the chair, and the baby would be sitting on her lap. He was actually 15 months old, but he was pretty heavy. The way my wife reaches the island and leaves it is interesting. I have tied a rope to an overhanging branch of a mango tree with a loop at its end. Putting one foot in the loop, she kicks off with other to bridge a 6-foot gap that constitutes the width of the surrounding pit. The return journey is made the same way, but who can say now that a sloth bear has no sense of affection, no memory, and no individual characteristics? So, now it is something that the narrator's wife had made a special arrangement for reaching to Baba. And who says that a sloth bear, black bear, does not have any sort of affection or memory, or they do not have any individual characteristics? Even the animals are full of emotions, they are full of love, care, like we, the human beings, have. So, dear students, this is all about the chapter. I hope that every one of you have understood it. And please always have a soft corner, no affection, love towards any sort of animals. They are such a beautiful creation by God. So, thank you for watching and have a great day, everyone. Dear students, if you still find any doubt or queries, please do comment in the comment section below. Thank you.